What should everyone try at least once in their life? Serious, this so much. I took up theater classes because I accompanied a friend to the free lesson and I liked what the teacher said. Never thought I'd ever do it, I'm quite shy and averse to being under the spotlight. I ended up living a very powerful and profound experience and making some long-lasting friendships. Having a pet. They make your life so much better. You can talk to somebody for hours without fear of them telling others or judging you. Plus they will be there for you when your day has been bad. Bonus if the pet is a rescue. There is something about rescue animals that make the bond deeper even though you have not known them for long. I don't know of anybody that has had pets but no longer has any pets, unless it's a medical reason.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment, but please like and subscribe.
We went to Yellowstone a few years ago, was curious about when the most recent Death Asshole Act had happened. Turned out we visited only a week or so after a dude slipped into pool trying to see if it was an okay temperature to bathe in. Park service was delayed, due to weather I think, and ended up never recovering his body because there was nothing left to recover. I guess my point is, it's astounding how frequently assholes visit parks and end up at best damaging irreplaceable natural features or at worst getting themselves killed because they think they're above rules, and overall needlessly traumatizing the caretakers of said parks. And to the other poster saying this is limited to America, check out the news articles on say, Uluru, the mermaid pools in Matapuri, NZ, recent examples off the top of my head, or in general, search, international sites that have been closed due to tourists. Edit to add, one of the few national parks that I theorize may be largely exempt from this is Great Sand Dunes. I mean I'm sure there's a way to be an asshole there but seeing as its entire deal is that you're allowed to just fuck off and crawl all around the dunes makes it hard for me to come up with a scenario where guests are ruining the site. Edit to add, I'm not talking about Sleeping Bear Dunes guys, we have a legitimate national park in Colorado that has dunes up to 750 feet but no coast beach, just a stream next to it and some mountains. It's wild and y'all should go visit. These are the dunes I'm talking about. I have always had a slight interest in learning to fly, but always assumed it was wildly expensive and just a hobby for the one. I am now going to see if I can get one of these discovery flights booked as this sounds absolutely amazing. Genuine, thanks for this info. I find it helpful, in a sad way, to remember that there are people who are afraid to travel to my city because of the risks. And that the risks are actually everywhere. I don't have someone with me at all times at home and people get raped and murdered here, too. If solo travel is something that really interests you, I'd pick somewhere with an established tourist trail and relatively low crime rate and give it a shot. If you're American, Europe is a good starting point. I first went to Ireland, which was so easy BC they speak English and really helped me get used to traveling. Everyone should try to see the world from the perspective of somebody less fortunate than them, or somebody with a completely different philosophy at least once. True, they should probably do so more than once in their lives but one is better than none. Go do a discovery flight, and log the time. General aviation pilot here. You probably have 2 to 3 flight schools within 30 miles of your house. They will have something called a discovery flight. You sit left seat where the pilot in command normally sits, and it's usually somewhere around 70 for a 45-minute flight. The instructor will handle the takeoff and landing, and when you get up there, she will give you some headings to fly, maybe an altitude or 2 to hit, and then take you back to the airport. You get an incredible view of your area, you get to fly a plane, and if you buy a pilot logbook, 10 on Amazon or at the flight school, you can have the instructor sign it and have actual time logged while flying a plane which you can then use towards your license if you ever pursue it. Even if you have zero desire to actually become a pilot, it's an awesome experience. Gift certificates for discovery flights are my go-to for Christmas birthday presents for people that I really like, but don't know what to buy. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for my first, second, and third, plat. For those commenting on the price, your mileage may vary when it comes to that, but in general, discovery flights are operated at a loss. For example, at my flight school, C-172 time is 130 wet, fuel included, per hour, and instruction is like 55 hours. So 185 hours to fly. But discovery flights are less than half that. Taking a bit of a loss on the discovery allows them to possibly hook a student pilot who may burn 7K 11K in a 6-month period to become a pilot, so it's usually worth it for them. Some places may be more, but if you're in an area where they're very expensive, there's also likely multiple options and one probably far less than the rest. You likely have some places with a few Cirrus and a Piper, and another place with a Cessna 107, kinda an umbrella, but learn a post-apocalypse skill. That's what I call them in my head. Mine was blacksmithing. I took a blacksmithing course over the summer, and learned a staggering amount about what it takes to take raw materials and turn them into useful tools. I have a background in geology, and metallurgy has always interested me, so it made sense. Seriously, find something low or no tech that makes you feel accomplished. Woodworking, smithing, animal husbandry, archery, soap making, beekeeping. Hell, grow some corn. Something to remind you where we've been as a species. Visit a national park. They're amazing. Enjoy your country's nature, wherever that may be, you know? State parks too. Holy crap, for a comment that I quickly posted in passing before work this morning, this sure took off. Thanks for the silver, and glad to see all the national park monument forest love. I'm a linguistic pattern analyst, certified fluent in 5, and I can say this is legitimately some of the best advice. You will learn so much about a culture from their colloquial dialects and national languages. In prison I knew a white supremacist, big skin-head guy named Kenny. For fun I taught him Spanish, a little each day. We did that every day for about a year together, and by the end of it he could converse with the Mexican nationals and he began to empathize with them. Caused him to see things differently, to recognize them as human beings, just through being able to actually communicate with them. It's surprising how much people have to say, once they truly can communicate. Language is such a beautiful thing, rife with its own rich history, culture and flair. I don't know who I would be if I had never found my love for language.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
Go watch a movie in a theater by yourself. When you have people with you, even if you both are perfectly quiet and never talk to each other once, there is still a sort of unspoken social obligation between you. Going by yourself is strangely liberating and really aids in enjoyment of the film and experience, in my opinion. For the record, I'm not bashing going with friends. I love doing that too. I think you can get enjoyment out of either experience. It just boils down to what you as a person want from an evening at the movies. I did this once as a teen. Just took my dog out for a walk to a part of the neighborhood I didn't usually go to. We found a little path behind the last street, which led to a cute creek, which led to an idyllic bend where there was a beautiful huge cottonwood tree and the grass so soft all around it. Ended up taking the dog there for picnics every weekend. Americans should drive cross-country. If you live in a city on the East Coast and haven't traveled by car across the West, you have no idea how beautiful and vast this country is. The East is so congested. Driving across South Dakota from Sioux Falls to Deadwood was the most surreal thing ever to me. And driving through Iowa. Man. I lived in a metro area of Connecticut. Traveling through Iowa, holy cow, I didn't know there could be that much land and corn. In Connecticut, if there's a piece of land, they cut down the trees and build condos or a shopping plaza. I meant Sioux Falls, not Rapid City. Solo travel for a few weeks or more. I used to be the type person that would be very dependent on having other people travel with me. Solo traveling, on the other hand, truly is a liberating feeling. You learn many things about yourself and mature. Whoa, this got some attention. Thanks everyone for the feedback. Keep growing and exploring. Much love. Write a short story that one actually wants to write, especially if it turns out bad. In my experience, experiences in school dissuade people from writing for themselves. Everyone can write something cool and interesting, and failing a lot is part of the process of becoming better. This applies to anything creative, including engineering. Just spend a few days completely out from the world. Politics? Don't know care? Social issues? Don't know care? Finances, health, friendships, enemies, items, etc., etc. In today's world, I fear sometimes the amount of information some of us take in might be a little too much in the long run. It's strangely nice to pretend like nothing exists outside of go to work, have a snack, chill, sleep. Important note, only for a few days. However, someone posted this in a similar thread, and I made a note of saving it so I could check it out someday. This website is a map that shows you some of the best places to go without light pollution. Enjoy. This is blowing up a bit, and I saw the last time this happened, we crashed their site with the old Reddit hug, so if possible, please set a reminder so we can hopefully prevent that from happening again. My wife and I were visiting a friend. He's a great guy, but he had this long, bad comb over. He walked down to the road for the mail, and we were discussing the comb over with his brother. As he walked up, I looked at him and said, "Dude, I have to say something. You're bald. Your comb over isn't fooling anyone. You should just cut that thing off and be a decent looking bald guy, because the comb over isn't working." The next time we saw him, it was gone, his long beard was cut shorter, and he was losing weight. It was true. He did look a lot better. Learn a musical instrument. Not only is it a useful way to spend your free time, but with a little time and effort, you can easily get good enough to play your favorite songs and create your own tunes as well. I've been playing guitar for 11 years now, and I also picked up the bass about 5 years ago, and it's one of the best feelings in the world when you are able to entertain other people through music. Any instrument will be difficult at first to learn, but by remaining patient, you can easily get to the point where playing an instrument becomes almost a therapeutic experience. And you don't have to bust the bank and purchase the most expensive models just to sound good. A good player can make even a worn out, broken instrument sound like heaven. Drawing and painting. Don't just give up when you realize it's not perfect on your first try. Artistic skill takes time and practice. It also takes an attentive eye. You can teach yourself these skills. Follow YouTube tutorials and books. Follow Bob Ross while he paints. Be patient with yourself and try your best. Art really is a gift. The ability to communicate ideas to people by drawing them is really helpful, in a lot of ways. And it really boosts your confidence knowing you're not total crap at it, lol. It also changes how you perceive the world around you. You start appreciating the little beautiful things more. Give it a go. You'll suck at first, but it'll be worth it.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
Surfaced in the middle of the night. Go up to the con to smoke a cigar with the oud and relax after a stress-filled initial sea trial. As I light up, I see bioluminescent plankton surrounding us in our wake. A vibrant green glow. I almost re-enlisted that day. Actually, it's a pretty strange series of events and happenstances that lead to me being able to speak the languages I do. I was partially raised by an Austrian immigrant family for a large portion of my childhood, and only 35 people in that family spoke English, so I learned German very young, could speak both fluently by the time I was 5. I was placed in an advanced placement boarding school for troubled children. I was indeed a difficult child, but immensely blessed with loving family, 2 loving families in fact lol, and my 2 roommates were Puerto Rican, the both of them. One could quantify and solve incredulously complex mathematical equations. He was doing non-Euclidean geometry by the time he was 11. He also had stabbed a classmate. The other was a very skilled computer hacker whose very same skills landed him there with me. Neither of them spoke much English, and I naturally adapt to languages, so within the year I lived there I was nearly fluent as it stood. Still talk to both of them to this day. Franco, the mathematician, is unfortunately in prison, but I write him often. Juan, the hacker, actually has a job at Microsoft, and he too writes Frankie. My family is very Norse. We are Nordic Ashkenazi Jews, believe it or not that's a thing, and at a young age in shul and yeshiva I learned to read and write and speak in Hebrew. I took it upon myself to learn the Elder Futhark and Old Norse, and from there got certified in 2015 in Norwegian. And that, dear friends, is how I learned the languages I did. Languages have a history in my family. Every male member of my family speaks more than 3, for 3 generations. It's in our blood, I suppose. There is such immeasurable beauty in languages, and they bring us together closer as a species every time we reach out and attempt to learn them, not only for the native speaker's sake, but for our own as well. Dude. I went to Arizona this summer and we left from near Houston at 6 a.m. We dropped minimal times and I fell asleep and it was dinner time and I'm like, where are we? And the driver was like an hour outside of El Paso. We were still in Texas. And at dinner in El Paso. And you think Kansas is big. I'd love to do this, but it is kind of scary. It's been so ingrained that I'm going to get captured and killed and harvested if I'm not with another person, or at the very least that I'll be robbed and stranded. It's hard to get past when you're told this over and over. Special reason why with friends? I live in the Netherlands where trekking options are minimal, or at least quite boring to me. But I like to do some hiking when on vacation. Usually with my wife, but did the W track in Patagonia once with friends, which was great.
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are 2 schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass if the can has this jagged metal edge. You know, I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food, I'm going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and it is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.